One of my old foremans, he was smacking a stud out with his hammer and he was doing it towards him and then he missed and smacked his tooth out, smacked his front tooth out. Yeah.
It's a pretty funny injury, really, if you have a tooth.
Yeah, it is a little bit funny. Yeah. And then I also cut myself with a drop saw not too long ago. I didn't really want to mention that one, but
Yeah.
I thought I might as well.
What is success to you?
I think it was a learn to love it experience.
And there's always pitfalls that you can fall in, but then you've got no one else to blame but yourself.
Number one thing if you're struggling is to catch other people about it.
Hey guys, Better Builder Apprentice is brought to you by our friends at Builders Academy. Builders Academy is New Zealand's newest apprentice provider and they definitely here to shake things up. Why use Builders Academy? Well, first of all, they're just as good as the other guys, but on top of that, they will come on site every 6 to 8 weeks. Yeah, that's quite a lot, right? That means that your apprentices will be a lot more engaged and they'll have to learn a lot less modules in between trainer visits. Secondly, they are backed by master builders. And thirdly, they have an experienced and motivated team that knows the industry inside and out. In fact, most of them are ex-chippies. Now, Builders Academy are currently offering $0 fees if you sign your apprentice up before the 31st of August. So definitely worth taking advantage of this deal. Just go to buildersacademy.co.nz. Okay, that's it from me. Enjoy the episode. Caleb Kennedy, thanks for coming on the podcast, man.
No worries, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's we talked a little bit off air around sort of how you got into the game, but you're here today to talk as someone that's recently been qualified.
Yep.
How long ago did you get qualified, did you say?
About 6 months ago.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well, we'll talk a little bit about that. But tell me a little bit about where you're from, where you grew up, what's been the vibe up until now. You're like 22, 23 now?
23. Yep.
Yeah. Where did you grow up?
Grew up in Halpo, lived there all my life.
And is that quite small place?
Yeah, it's a pretty small place.
What's that like growing up in a smaller town? I mean, obviously you don't know any different, but what do you guys get up to there?
Oh, not a whole lot really. I play rugby for Halpo, so yeah.
Okay, cool.
We've got a good footy team out there, so it's real enjoyable.
Okay, well, let me guess. Should I guess your position? So you play rugby union?
Yep.
Okay, I reckon flanker.
Oh, thank you. No.
Yeah.
Not but on the wing. But
Are you on the wing?
Yeah, that's a
okay,
compliment though. So
yeah, I
cheers.
don't really know like the size comparison
Yeah.
against the other guys, but like you got like a flanker vibe, but yeah, you're probably quick as well, so that probably helps.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite player? Who's your favorite winger at the moment that I've
Who's my favourite winger?
Yeah.
Probably Will Jordan. Yeah.
Will Jordan, he's good, eh?
Yeah, he's mean as a. Yeah.
They should be playing him at 15 though, shouldn't they? Don't you think?
Yeah, I reckon actually, to be honest. He goes right there because he's played it before, hasn't he?
Yeah, I saw some like schoolboy games of his a while back, and he was on from fullback, and he was just scoring heaps of tries.
Yeah, he's a weapon, eh?
Yeah, so I think he'll be dangerous. So maybe once Bowden Barrett starts to move on or something like that, he probably will move to 15. I'd imagine.
Yeah, that'd be good, eh?
Yeah. So okay, so you obviously went to high school, small town, played a lot of rugby.
Yep.
It's a small town, like is there like a lot of like drugs and things like that in a small town, or is it mostly just like fishing and hunting? And because it can go both ways, right? Like sometimes small towns people get so bored they just start getting up to no good, and then other times they sort of more into the outdoors. Like what was the vibe in your town?
Yeah, no, there's not a whole lot of that sort of activity going on. There's a fair bit of drinking, I'd say, especially at the rugby club. We had a good few nights there after some games, but Yeah.
No, so it's a good vibe. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's good.
And you guys, good team?
Yeah, I like to think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Okay, so you're 23 now, you still play, so that's pretty good. I stopped playing when I was like 20. So no, it's good, keep playing, because as soon as you stop, you can't really start again, because you just start pulling hammies and things like that.
Yeah, I kind of lost a love for it in high school, I think.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't be asked, to be honest. But then I came back to a Halpo, like in my last year of high school. And then I just found the love for it again, so it's mean.
Yeah. Oh, that's good, Yeah, as long as you enjoy it, you actually play better, eh?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Especially if you're on the wing as well.
Yeah.
So what made you decide to get into like building? Like why choose the trade building, and why not become an electrician or a plumber or one of those?
I guess probably through my parents, really, because they built like heaps of spec homes all through my childhood and stuff. So I've
real?
Been around building sites, for ever since I can remember, really. So
that was like part of their like they would just buy land, build spec, and sell them off.
Yeah, that's pretty much
cool.
what I do. So yeah, I was just hanging around there, and we lived in quite a few of them as well. So got to live in some nice new homes. But yeah.
Show home, living like show homes, pretty much.
Yeah, not really, but yeah. But yeah, no, I just been around them all my life. So.
And was your old man a builder as well, or was he sort of more like just a developer or a handyman? Or?
He knows what he's doing. He's not a builder by trade, but yeah, he works for Thompson's ITM in Hamilton there.
Cool.
But yeah, no, he knows what he's doing. He taught me heaps of stuff as a kid, so I had a bit of experience coming into it as well. So
yeah. Part of your goal was to kind of get into the same stuff in the future, like learn the trade and then do your own spec homes in the future.
100%. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. My old man's a good teacher with that. I think he would help me with that. So. Yeah.
And you mentioned before your boss that you work for now, or the building company you work for now, used to be They used to just be a building company.
Yep.
And now they're bought into Sentinel Homes as well.
Yep.
And what, has it been beneficial for you having that vision to do spec homes and that, were you quite excited when they got into Sentinel Homes and kind of learning how the whole setup works around that?
Yeah. I guess it helped with the whole like pre-construction side as well.
Yeah.
I guess learning everything that goes on. Like sometimes it's like 2 years in the process before you actually start building. So yeah, it's good to learn about all that. But
yeah, because there's more to it than just on site, right?
There's
absolutely.
A lot more. Yeah.
So even at an early part of your career, it's quite good to kind of learn all that as well. Yeah. So tell me then, what was the first day like as an apprentice? Walking on site. Were you nervous? Were you confident? What was the vibe?
I did some like school holiday work, so I kind of knew what to expect, but it's I don't know. I was a little bit nervous, as you do coming into anything new. So
yeah,
I just fell in love with it. So yeah.
And what? Oh, cool. And how many guys were working on site like when you started?
There was probably Dan's old crew. There was probably about 5 of us. Yeah.
And what was the reception like of everyone? Were they pretty welcoming or?
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, they're all friendly as. Yeah, crack up. So
cool.
Yeah.
And the first year were you like a lot on the broom, or what was your sort of first year experience like as an apprentice?
No, I reckon with Grub, his nickname's Grub, by the way. I reckon with him,
Grub, I like it.
Yeah, he kind of just likes to throw you in the deep end, which is, I think, helped with learning heaps. Because, I don't know. I think if you're just on a broom, you're not really learning. You don't get a job to fucking sweep the whole time. You get a job to do building, So he's by throwing you in the deep end, just help you learn way faster, I reckon. So
I think that's really good, And also obviously I think in the rural areas, it's a lot. You guys get a lot more exposure to sort of a lot of wider, or more all parts of the build rather than just one little specific area that you maybe get in the city, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. Which definitely help you, I think, be a better all-round builder eventually, right?
Yep.
So that's kind of cool to get that exposure at the start. Yep. What were some of like the hardest times you went through as an apprentice that you can remember?
Hardest times? I don't know. I didn't really find that at all that challenging, because I just enjoyed it the whole time. So I didn't, never really like hated going to work, or never really, building is challenging, but I enjoy it. So I enjoy the challenge. So yeah.
Oh, that's good. So and in terms of like the physical side, so.
Yeah.
If you can think back, like, because a few years ago now, when you first started building, like, what was it like on the body? Like, did it take you a little while to get used to?
Yeah, it was a bit hard in the old rig, especially standing frames out in the sun, just sweating, and just how heavy they are, and like you'll get home and you'll be real sore.
Yeah.
But I've probably gotten used to it now, but I still come home with a sore body, to be honest. But I think you just get used to being sore and just
And how does that work in with a rugby? Does it make you does it make training harder, or is it better you sort of all around just like more in shape?
No, I reckon it keeps you in shape, especially coming to trainings. You're like, especially if you were working like an office job, your body would be like cold and not warmed up. So I reckon it's actually way better, to be honest.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with you. I remember when I was younger, I went to uni, did like an office job, and then I had like a lot of mates, obviously they were builders or either like a sparky or plumber. My flatmates were like in the trades, and we'd go, even like we used to like do go to the gym, do like CrossFit and that
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
stuff. And then getting there, like they'll be all like warm and ready to go,
Yeah.
and then all us office boys have
Yeah,
to like
yeah.
warm up
Yeah.
for like half an hour just to get the blood flowing.
Yeah,
and-
yeah. I hate warming up too, so I might as well
yeah.
spend all day warming up so I can just get straight into it. To me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so like definitely when you're younger,
Yeah.
the trades are so good for that. Keeps
Yeah.
you kind of going, keeps
Yeah.
the body fresh. The guys are also like a lot more flexible, and overall it was just much better than sitting at a desk.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I couldn't handle sitting at a desk. I don't think.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. No, fair enough. Looking back now, what can you tell me a little bit of like any sort of big mishaps or mistakes and stuff that you made? I mean, obviously there were like heaps of little ones, but anything sort of stand out in terms of some of the mistakes that you maybe made as an apprentice? Like,
Yeah, there's a few. Yeah, there was one we were doing like an apartment renovation. So we did like a reclad
Right.
out in Victoria Street in Hamilton there.
yeah,
And it was while the tenants were living in there, and I was ripping off their cladding, and I had to like saber saw through something, and I think we were cutting some rotting studs out. I think that was it. So I cut through the bottom of the stud, and I ended up cutting through the mains water underneath the main switch as well. So I flooded their entire garage with all their stuff in it. So we had to empty out all their shit and squeegee all the water out and then bring it back in after.
What did the boys say on site after that? Was a few eyes rolled and
everyone was just speechless. Like, everyone was just like running around trying to find the where to turn the water off by the road and stuff. But yeah,
oh man, and what year was that? How far into your apprenticeship were you?
it was about 3 years.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So they were like,
not the
Caleb,
proudest
you
ones,
idiot.
but yeah. But,
Oh, that's all right. Everyone's gonna have one of those stories, or at least
absolutely.
one of those stories.
yeah,
Stuffing
everyone's
up.
cut through a pipe or two in their apprenticeship, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Well, it's you kind of learning, right?
Absolutely.
And so, to people who are looking to get into apprenticeships, like what's the structure? How did the structure work for you getting into your apprenticeship? Explain to me how you sort of got into it and how long it took and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I suppose. Oh, for me, when I got my job, I didn't really like. I don't know. It probably took like a year for me to actually start an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
I was kind of just labouring, just working, just to earn some money, and then I got into BCITO with Dane, and then he signed me up. He was with me for a couple years, and then ended up getting another advisor, and then we went into the switch up to Builders Academy, and then it was just way better from there.
All go, yeah. Oh, cool. So, and how many years all up until you got qualified?
I think it took me about 3.5, which is
Okay, it's pretty
but
good.
yeah, I spent that like whole year beforehand that as well. So I came into the apprenticeship with quite a lot of experience. So
Oh, that's good.
it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people take a little while before they get into it because
Yeah.
I guess you got to figure out if the company is the right company you want to do your apprenticeship with, and then they got to figure out if you're the kind of guy they want to commit to.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of you sort of feel each other out for a little while, and I
Yeah.
think that's pretty I think it's pretty good with doing it that way.
Yeah. They usually do like a 3-month trial period, but
Yeah.
yeah, I know it's definitely good to do a trial period to make sure you're employing the right person.
Yeah,
and just make
100%.
sure that it's what they want to do as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the big freaking important thing, but annoying thing sometimes as well is like the bookwork aspect to it.
Yeah.
A lot of guys get into the trade because they want to be on site, they want to
Yeah.
build things, right?
Yeah.
How did you find doing the bookwork, and like did you sort of make time for it at night? Did you do it like on the weekends? Like how did you sort of navigate all that?
Yeah, I did not want to do it on my weekends. To be honest. I just did everything last minute. To be honest,
Crammed it.
but it worked out for me. I don't mind doing bookwork, but it's I'm a builder, so it's something I'd rather not be doing. But yeah, I knew I had to get it done, so I just crammed it all into one weeknight really, and just
Yeah.
tried to smash it out as fast as I could.
And like everything, when it's more relevant, sometimes when something's a bit more relevant, you learn it a bit. It's more fun to learn. Was there any of those aspects where like even though it was annoying to kind of like the whole act of like you have to go sit down now at a desk and do stuff, was there some of those elements that was quite good to learn because like you have something coming up in a project and you're learning about it? Was there any benefit? I mean, obviously there's benefit, but was there kind of like any enjoyment in it?
Yeah, well, there's some things in building where you don't like actually ever do practically, but like it's good to learn about it. through bookwork and stuff. So there's a lot of aspects in building that you might not even do, especially being in residential maybe, or stuff with that commercial builders were doing, and I wouldn't.
And that would be less fun to do.
Yeah, probably.
Because you're just like, well, it's just kind of like, I'm never going to use this.
But yeah, it's good to know everything theory wise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, through Builders Academy, obviously, like one of their big aspects is meeting with their apprentices more regularly. So every 6 weeks to 8 weeks at the most, I guess.
Yeah.
With a lot of the other guys are sort of every 3 months or whatever. How have you found it beneficial, like meeting more regularly? How does that benefit you?
Yeah. Well, like, because I started on like the tail end of my apprenticeship, so it was way better because I just wanted to get it done. So way better with them coming every 6 weeks.
So you just kind of like fast track a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And before that, so was it any? So when the other guys came every like 3 months or whatever, did you have to like learn a lot more at a time, or how was that different?
Yeah, well, like they'll give you a goal, and then it's like 3 months down the track, you've just forgotten everything. So I don't know. And then every time they came, they just felt like I was just being interrogated rather than just, you know, like when Dane comes, he's just coming for a yarn, you know, and you feel more natural and everything just flows kind of thing. So,
but more like relationship based.
Yeah.
Rather than feeling like you're like a cop's coming to ask you a bunch of questions. Yeah.
It's just a lot easier to talk about stuff.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. And I know that, did you ever go to any of those night classes and stuff like that? Because I know the Builders Academy run those night classes. How was that, and what did it involve?
Yeah, well, we just go there and get handed out some like theory goals that we want to sign off, and we could sign them off at the night class, which was me.
Cool.
Yeah, so pretty much just a whole nother opportunity rather than like adding on to a site visit rather than just having the site visits kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they would like run through specific aspects on those nights, answer questions and things like that as well if you're unsure of stuff.
Yeah, and they'll be hanging around. Yeah, Dane will always hang around to help you, and shout us pizza, which is good. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
it's always a good way to get you in there, eh?
Yeah.
Do you have like any? You know, it's always hard to ask, but like, do you have any sort of like advice just from your sort of experience that you have for, you know, there's maybe people listening to this that are like thinking about getting into an apprenticeship, you know, like they sort of imming and ahhing about it, which direction they want to go in, and they sort of eyeing up the building apprenticeship. Any sort of advice or that you could give from your point of view?
I think I just go like, I don't know. Just give it a nudge, I reckon. Like, if it's something you think you want to do, don't overthink it. Don't try to overthink it, because if it's something you want to do, then just give it a crack. You don't have to do it forever.
Yeah.
You know? Just give it a crack and see if you like it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good advice,
most
like,
will. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, don't overthink it too much. Don't try to like figure out your whole like life career or anything.
Yeah.
If it's interesting enough, give it a crack.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of, because you know there are a lot of opportunities off the back of having your ticket, right?
Yep.
Talking to, I'm assuming you have some mates that are builders as well, or no?
Yeah, I got a couple of mates that are builders.
Yeah. What's the goal of people out there at the moment when they get qualified? Do most people want to like run their own companies? They want to do do different things? Like, what's sort of some of the goals out there?
Yeah, me and my mates usually have goals of maybe doing a bit of travel, staying with a company for a bit after getting qualified, and then maybe doing a bit of travel, then coming back and maybe starting a company. That's my goal anyway.
And where would you travel?
Probably, I'm thinking the UK, probably.
Yeah, we've had a few guys on the podcast that, probably 4 guys at least, or 5 that the old went to the UK. Yeah. Did some building there. A lot of the work, different types of work up there as well. And I think they throw you right in the deep end as well there, which is kind of cool.
It's just so different, like everywhere. Everyone does things. So.
Yeah, like you just do like work on big 100-year-old mansions to like big fit outs, and like there's just different work, and then you can go traveling all around Europe, and it's just like a cool thing
just
to do.
The convenience of the UK being close to everything, eh? So
and I think New Zealand and Australia builders are quite well regarded up there as well, which I think is really, really cool. What qualities do you think makes a good apprentice or eventually a good builder?
I think the first thing I always notice is them turning up with a good attitude, on time as well. Showing that you're actually eager to do it, not just like, oh, just another day of work, not,
Yeah.
they're eager to they get out of the car straight away, don't sit in their car for 10 minutes on their phone, get out of the car straight away, start unpacking all the tools, and I think that shows a sign of a good, someone that actually wants to be there, yeah.
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 And the mentality these days is sort of like a lot of guys on their phone, these days, like even at Smoko, guys sort of sitting on their phone.
Yeah.
Do you think there's benefit in like maybe putting the phone away a little bit, chatting with the older guys and just sort of like building a rapport and building that relationship?
Yeah. I found with like the crew I work with, we all sit down and have smoke together and chat shit, which is good.
Yeah. It makes you also like want to come to work, right? That's like a big part. Like you want to come to work, not feel like it's like just a job and
especially if you get along with the people you work with too. So
yeah.
I
know. I think that's really, really important, I'm just kind of thinking like, there's a lot of business owners that listen to this as well.
Yeah.
And they want to know how they can improve or how they can best support their apprentices. Maybe I should ask a question this way: like, how do you feel building business owners can support their apprentices best? You've just recently gone through your apprenticeship.
Yeah.
What sort of support can they give in terms of making the process a bit easier or better or more efficient?
I think giving them a big variety of work, so like then making sure they're not just doing the same thing for ages, because like there's so much things to building. So making sure they're constantly doing different jobs, getting experience in heaps of the different jobs, I think is probably the most important part.
Yeah. And how beneficial? I think that's really good advice. And how beneficial is it for an apprentice or for your boss to kind of like tell you what's coming up, or your foreman or whatever, what's coming up in the project, so you can go look up? Does that ever happen where they can go, well, this part of the build's coming up?
Yep.
Maybe you can go check out your bookwork and make sure you know learn ahead. Yeah.
So we've sort of started to like check what goals you've got coming up. So maybe if we've got a floor to do coming up, so we chuck them on that,
Yeah.
And someone who's like done that before, maybe we don't need to get them on that, so he can do something else. Well,
Yeah. In terms of apprentices these days, there's a lot of chatter around, apprentices are soft and apprentices are, not what they used to be.
Yeah.
What are your sort of point of view? Obviously you've got some mates that've gone through the apprenticeship, yourself. Are apprentices, obviously the world's changed. Are apprentices just sort of like maybe misunderstood, or do you think apprentices are a bit soft these days, or what's your sort of point of view?
I don't know. I think the industry is always changing, and I don't think it's gonna come back to what it used to be. Like I think you just got to adapt to how the apprentices are. As long as they want to be there and work hard, then you just got to adapt to it, because it's never gonna go back to the way it used to be. So
and each generation also has different attributes, right? And I think that building business owners also has to understand that these apprentices grew up in a different world than what they grew up in. We're in a digital world. And it's also, sometimes you can't also blame them if you play devil's advocate, because they're looking around, they see guys making like thousands of dollars on, trading crypto or doing drop shipping or there's all these other seemingly easy ways to make money. And so you can't blame sometimes builders or young apprentices like maybe, I don't know, maybe having a different attitude towards things, a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And do you think apprentices are more like open-minded maybe these days, like doing things differently, or?
Yeah, 100%. Because I know the way the old fellas used to do it, I don't generally like.
Like what? Give me some examples.
I don't know. Like, I guess making sure they like know how to hammer in a nail by hand. It's just like, everyone's using nail guns. It's fine. So like, no one's gonna fucking I know, I'm trying to think of examples. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean that's a good. It's like back in the day when people are like, "Oh, you're never going to have a calculator in your pocket."
Yeah,
You got to learn how to. You know, I don't know if you remember when I was young. It was kind of like you got to know your math because you're never going to have a calculator in your pocket.
Yeah. No, I think that's stupid. If you need to work something out, just whip out your phone. I don't mind.
Yeah.
Whip out your phone and just work it out. Yeah.
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 So it's just like a different mentality, eh?
Yeah,
I think it's people just got to like put yourself in the other generation's shoes a little bit.
Yeah, which I think is good because I get to run my own career now, and I'm like young myself as well, so I can relate to all the young apprentices, which I think is why we work so well. Cause we can all relate to each other. Yeah. So we all kind of think the same way.
Yeah.
Which is good. Yeah.
No, I think that's important, to kind of get into the heads of the young guys coming through and girls, because there's some value that you can bring in different ways, right? And you got to figure things out and learn and be humble. But then there's also you might just be like, why don't we just do it like this? And it could be beneficial.
Yeah.
1 out of 10 ideas could be good.
Yeah.
And I think people should be open to that, right?
Yeah, and I think my boss is real open to the way everything changes anyway. So like if I come to him with an idea that he might not be used to, he just said, just do that. Yeah, just has the faith in me, so which is good.
Oh, that's awesome. And so tell me, what did it feel like when you got your ticket? Like you go through this whole thing, obviously year one, you feel like you probably feel like you're not progressing in life, right? And then year two, sort of a little bit better. Year three, the penny drops, as they say, and you start to understand what you're up to. Then you get qualified, or after year four, whatever, you get qualified. What does that feel like when you get qualified?
Yeah, I think that's probably when the real pressure comes on, because then you have to start like running your own crews and looking after jobs. So I think that's actually when the real learning starts, to be honest. Like, I know, my learning probably will never stop. So, yeah.
That's good. And then because obviously I assume when you get your ticket, you get immediate pay rise, right? Did that happen?
Yep. Yeah, that was good. Probably my favourite part.
Yeah. Straight away.
Yeah.
So now you're qualified. Now you can get charged out at a qualified rate as well.
Yeah.
And okay, so that must have been pretty good. And so now, and then how long did it take before your boss started giving you more responsibility?
Well, I sort of had the responsibility before I got qualified.
Right.
Like I said before, he just throws me in the deep end, but which is good, fastest way to learn. But no, it's good. Yeah.
Awesome. So with Builders Academy, I want to chat just a little bit about a bit more about how they are set up and how they may be different to some of the other providers, like BCITO or whatever. There's some block courses out there as well.
Yep.
Sort of from your point of view, how would you say they are different? Just like the whole vibe of their company versus some of the other you've dealt with. Some of the other ones as well.
Yeah, I think with BCITO, it just feels like a massive corporation, and I don't know, just like I said, it feels like you're just getting interrogated every time they come for a visit.
Right.
And it's just like not what a young apprentice wants. So I think, with Dane, he just comes to site, doesn't just start testing you straight away. He's just like, I don't know. He's just talking to you like he's one of your mates.
Right.
Which makes it just way easier. Yeah.
So he's focused a lot on building that relationship, making sure he's like a friend and a mate, understands where you're at.
Building that relationship first and then getting into it.
Yeah. And how have they helped you, because I assume that you're not always motivated. I assume there's some times where you're just like a bit down or a bit in a rut or just like it's over it. Like, has there been some ways that they've been able to help you kind of get through those? Yeah,
well, I think just with the visits being that frequent, I think it just keeps you motivated. Because if you're getting seen every 3 months, you kind of do one, then you just,
Then you feel like, I don't have to do anything.
Yeah. I don't have to do anything for 3 months, so I'm just going to slack off for 3 months and then I'll get back into it. But just keeping you on your toes, I think, is the best part about it.
In terms of changing over, so when you had to change over from BCITO to Builders Academy, was it a bit of a pain in the ass switching over? Or was it
it was. Admittedly, it was a little bit. But I think,
What was the process? You had to change a bunch of stuff over and...
Yeah, well, we just had to... we gave all our all our work stuff to Dane, and then he did all the admin really, but we just had to wait really,
Right.
which was a little bit annoying, but I think it was well worth it.
Right.
Yeah, because I think
And
it would have
then-
taken me way longer to finish my apprenticeship with BCITO. I probably would still be an apprentice now, to be honest. So I
Right.
reckon, yeah, if I was still with BCITO.
So it's kind of an interesting situation because you changed over, and also he changed over just before you, I assume, from being being an educator there to being an educator for Builders Academy, and you could see the difference once you've switched over. Like it was noticeably different.
Yeah, noticeably different. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's just the whole vibe of the company. A lot more personable, meeting more regularly.
Yeah.
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 More boutique.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any feedback for Builders Academy, for them in general or the educators in terms of how they could do stuff better? Like how can they, people are always looking for feedback, right? Can always do something better, can always go about it in a better way. What sort of feedback do you have for them in terms of ways that they could, and maybe not even just them, but the whole thing could be done better in terms of the apprenticeship program?
Yeah, to be honest, I actually can't find anything bad they've actually done. They just made, for me, everything just so easy. Like, I don't know, there's nothing they can really work on, to be honest. Like,
Cool.
Everything was just so easy. Made everything so easy.
Yeah, so it's just about just putting in the work.
Yeah,
They made it as easy as they can for you to kind of chip away at it.
Yeah. I think it's mostly up to the apprentice anyway, to be honest. Just making sure you're doing the work because, they're not gonna work if you're not willing to work. So
Yeah, that makes sense. So and where you at now? Like, so you're qualified. Congratulations.
thank you.
You've got your ticket.
Yep.
You're on your better paycheck. You got more responsibility at work. So, what does success mean to you now?
Now that I'm running my jobs, just making sure everyone's happy with the way I'm doing it. I'm still learning, obviously, but making sure because I got my own apprentices now, so making sure they're happy and I'm teaching them as good as I can, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now that you have your own apprentices working under you, now it's a different perspective, right?
Yep.
What are some of the mistakes that they are making that you could see coming through that that they can do better, I guess?
I think just rushing things. I think that's probably the thing that most apprentices are doing these days, because the whole industry is just, everything is just rushed. But I think go back to just taking your time and making sure you do a good job rather than just rushing it and just doing a shit job.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to do it.
And just kind of focusing on that quality.
Yeah, focus on quality.
Yeah.
And then building your speed up once you get more experienced. Yep.
Cool. And based on watching Builders Academy style, are you also putting that into your apprentices, like kind of building that relationship with them, making sure that they, it's a good vibe around around the site rather?
Yeah, absolutely. We're always you're always having a laugh and having a joke around site all the time, so which is good. Yeah.
Oh, good stuff.
Makes it way easier.
Yeah. It's probably fair to say that being an apprentice can be an isolating experience at times. You kind of, it's not like you have 10 apprentices on site, you're all hanging out and learning together.
Yeah.
Would I be correct in saying that?
Yep. Yeah.
How did you deal with, mental health? It's kind of it's kind of a buzzword that people throw around there. But in general, if you're isolated, you're the only person in your category at work, and you're the only person with your specific challenges and problems, you can get down, I'd imagine, get a bit, things aren't always charging and you may be in a bit of a rut.
Yeah.
Have you been in those scenarios, and how have you sort of practically sort of help yourself sort of snap out of that?
I think just keep asking questions. There's never a dumb question. I'd rather you ask a question and what I'm trying to say. I think just keep asking questions. Otherwise, if you just sit there silently and keep messing things up, I think that's where you'll get stuck in that rut, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where you found it? Sometimes you just sort of you don't ask anything. You just keep doing stuff and keep making mistakes, and
Yeah.
you just sort of downward spiral after that.
Yeah, I think I think I got into a bit of habit of that, but yeah, once I started asking questions, then I keep progressing and progressing. So
Yeah.
yep.
Just reassuring you're on the right track.
Yeah.
And how are people? Obviously, you've got friends and apprentices now and things like that, or that's maybe recently qualified. How are the mental health of like young guys and girls out there at the moment in the building industry from your point of view?
Well, to me, it looks pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
And that just depends on who's running the crew and who's running your companies you're working for. I think if they set a good working environment, then you're gonna be happy working in that environment, I think.
Yeah. So you think from your point of view, a lot of the poor mental health out there is more external, like from bad run sites or bad culture and things like that?
I think so, yeah. With companies that just don't really connect. Like with Sentinel, we always got our social events we're doing. I think that, connecting with the company is the part that makes us work so well together.
Yeah. What do you guys do for social stuff?
Oh, we just done some blackwater rafting.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, down Waitomo there.
Oh, sick.
We did go-karting up Hampton Downs as well.
Nice.
We got a fishing trip coming up next Friday, so it's good.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
So that makes a big difference, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So guys and girls value that a lot.
Yeah. Makes sure, just makes you feel valued, I think. Makes you feel like you're rewarded. Yeah.
Like you're not just a number.
Yeah,
you're not just there to make money for the company.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
yeah.
And it's good.
Oh, that's awesome, man. What's the best piece of advice you received while you were an apprentice? So like, if you can remember thinking back, people giving you all sorts of advice and things to do. Can you remember anything that sort of stands out?
I reckon always putting your hand up for the kind of harder jobs, I think, and showing that you're willing to take on a challenge. I think, yeah.
Yeah. Just being keen and eager.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
be like, I can do this, or
Yeah.
I can crawl under this house. And
Yeah. Just showing that you're keen and eager.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I think that's really good. Cool, man. I've got some rapid fire questions for you.
Yep.
Thanks for coming on. I think
Yeah, thanks for having me.
it's just quite good to kind of hear from a recently qualified guy, going recently through your apprenticeship.
Yep.
There's a lot of other apprentices, sometimes they may feel like they are alone, or maybe they are literally alone on site,
Yeah.
or their challenges such as theirs, but there's definitely some challenges, right, that come with going through your apprenticeship.
Yep. Absolutely, yeah.
And learning and like being unsure and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's very valuable you coming on and having a bit of a chat. I think a big part as well that I learned from talking to a few guys is that there's also that element of like when you come out, when you're at school, you generally get to be tested all the time, and then when you go and do first year of apprentice, you don't always know if you're progressing or not. So you're sort of in this halo of nothingness for the first year.
Yeah.
And that if you don't feel like you're progressing in life, that can kind of lead to poor mental health. And
it can be a bit hard, but just keep asking questions, I think, is the main thing. Keep yourself eager.
Yeah. And then also just knowing, especially those apprentices coming through, that literally every day you're stacking more skills onto your current skills. You're constantly learning, even if you feel like you're not learning.
Yeah.
That's really important to realize. Like even the smallest things, you don't even know sometimes. You're
There's
learning.
just so many aspects of building. You're constantly learning. So which is so good about it.
Yeah. Even if there's nothing you haven't signed anything off.
Yeah.
You're still learning.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Cool, man. Awesome. No, thanks for that. So, what's your most used tool in your penny?
Most used tool. Probably my dog bar.
Oh, cool. What's your go-to snack during smoker?
Go-to snack. Probably pie.
Yeah,
Steak and
love
cheese
it.
pie.
Yeah, gotta love it. Eh? Worst on-site injury?
One of my old foremans, he was smacking a stud out with his hammer, and he was doing it towards him, and then he missed and smacked his front tooth out.
It's a pretty funny injury, really, if you have a tooth.
Yeah, it is a little bit funny. Yeah. And then I also cut myself with a drop saw not too long ago. I didn't really want to mention that one, but I thought I might as well. Yeah.
Get it open out.
Yeah.
Out with it. What's the most common mistake new apprentices make?
Probably just missing nails and hitting shit with their hammer, putting dents
In
dents in finished surfaces. Probably the main one. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to do that practicing at home, with a hammer. If you could build anything in the world, what would you build?
I don't know. I'll just stick to houses.
Yeah.
Love building houses. So yep.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
What was your secret to staying motivated during tough days throughout your apprenticeship?
I don't know. I think probably just keep thinking that your job's not everything. It's like it's not the end of the world. Just make a mistake. You come to work and it's another day. It's not, mistakes aren't the end of the world. Yeah, you're going to make them. So knowing that you're going to make mistakes, I think, helps a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. What's the funniest thing that happened to you on the job, if you can remember?
I know I got a pretty clumsy apprentice, so him just always falling over is probably the highlights of my day. So yeah.
Oh, that's pretty funny. Yeah. Coffee or energy drink?
Coffee in the mornings, then energy drinks. Yeah. During the day.
EV or petrol head?
Petrol head.
Rock or hip hop?
Rock.
What's your most used emoji?
Most used emoji. Probably just a laughing face emoji. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Are you an extrovert or introvert?
Introvert.
Rugby union or league?
Rugby union.
UFC or F1?
F1.
That's quick.
Yeah.
What's your favourite hobby?
Favourite hobby? Probably rugby. I don't know if you call that a hobby, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, good stuff. Wine or beer?
Beer.
Makita, DeWalt or Milwaukee?
Makita. Makita all day.
What's the last piece of advice you'd give to apprentices someone looking to get into an apprenticeship?
Just give it a crack. Yep.
Don't overthink it.
That's all you can ask for. Yeah, don't overthink it. Just give it a crack.
Awesome, man.
Yep.
Cool. Thanks, Caleb. That's it, man.
Sweet.
Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was trying to you just freeze up a little bit.
No, you did well, man. Yeah. You did well, and I think, like I said, a lot of young guys would have got something out of this, so that's all we want, right?
Yep.
So, yeah, cheers, man.
Yep. Cheers for having me.